This week I'm going to be talking about brush care and giving you some tips and showing different ways on how you can keep your brushes in pristine working order. So grab yourself a lovely cuppa and let's dive on in. So I've got two interesting methods here that I'm going to try and use to build on my standard washing and keeping the brushes clean with water, to see if I can get them either restoring some of these frayed brushes and trying out some new techniques myself to see if I can get these brushes back to working order. For this experiment I've got two very different techniques. The first one is a well recommended paintbrush cleaner and preserver. Now this one right here is from B&J Originals and it's down as the Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver. It's got some fairly simple instructions, which means that you basically open up the lid, you lather up your brushes, and then it should give them a good clean. So I'll be testing that out and seeing if I can restore some brushes. My other method is a little bit wacky, and this is actually using a method used for cleaning makeup brushes. I have this right here. This is a tiny little washing machine that I ordered from wish.com. And what it basically has on the inside is a little propeller that keeps the water swirling like a vortex to give that deep clean of your brushes. So I'm going to be trying both of these methods out and seeing which one works. So let's start with the brush preserver. So to try and keep this test as fair as possible, I've got 4 brushes and I'm going to use 2 brushes on each one. The brushes I've got here are 2 medium base brushes that are both frayed and clogged up and kind of not really usable. And then I have a starter brush, a small base brush. All of these are from Citadel. So what we're doing is using the method for 1 medium base and then the small base for 1, and then the starter brush and the other medium base for the other. This should hopefully try and keep it fairly even between the two methods so we can see which one works and which one works best. So to start with, let's go with the brush preserver, which is this stuff right here. And I'm going to go do the medium base and the small base on this, starting with the medium base brush. Now this brush cleaner is actually very simple and easy to use. The instructions are on the base and it just says, first off you would need to wet your brushes, then take the lid off, lather it on the soap, and then wash it off, and then we'll rinse it again and leave it to dry. So rather than take it to the sink, what I've got here today is I have a pot here which I'm going to fill with just some clean tap water. So that will act as my sink. I also have my Citadel water pot here using the rivets on there so I can keep that clean. That's also filled with just some tap water, and I have the brush cleaner preserver. So let's open it up. So as we can see here on the inside, it actually looks like it's almost like lip balm or a bar of soap inside. So starting off with the medium base brush, let's get you nice and wet. And then, as the instructions say, you just need to kind of lather it up. So, and wow, that really collects straight away on there and kind of is building up quite a lot on that brush. So it's building up quite a bit there. So instructions just say is basically give it a good scrub. And keep going back and forth. Maybe just add a little bit of water into the preserver. Make a little bit, that's a little bit better. We can already see the colour of the actual preserver itself kind of changing a bit, where it's taking all of the dirt and the built up residue from this brush. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to the water pot, because the water pot's got this rivets at the bottom. So by using this, I'm hoping that actually I can be a bit more aggressive with the scrubbing and see if that helps. So let's have a go. The goal here is obviously to get right down into the base of the brush, into the ferrule, to make sure that this is all okay. And we're going to go back to the preserver. And I'm just going to do this a few times just to see kind of how it turns out. So I've gone back and forth a few times now, and I think that's pretty much all I can do. I'm going to wait for the brush to dry and see if I can reshape it back into the position it should be. But so far I'm already really impressed with how clean these bristles look. I'm going to do the same thing right here with the small base brush. And then I'll set them aside to dry, and then we'll test out the next method with the small washing machine from Wish. So for our next experiment, we're going to try this tiny little washing machine for cleaning makeup brushes that we got from wish.com. So let's have a look at here. So basically the way this works is you turn it on and you should see like a little propeller in there. What that does is that swirls the water around and hopefully helps clean the brushes. So I'm going to try them on some painting brushes. The ones we have here are our medium base brush and the starter brush, both from Citadel. So first off, we're going to take some clean water. And fill that up. Now, as per the instructions, it states that you should wash your makeup brushes in some sort of soft, gentle shampoo. So as you can see here, I've given these a scrub in just some natural, gentle shampoo. Nothing fancy, literally just that standard stuff you'll find in most bathrooms. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to start this up, and we're going to give it a go and see how they come out. We're going to start first off with the medium base brush. Now straight away, the first thing that I can see is that the water itself has taken off some of the shampoo and soap that was used. But what it hasn't done is when we saw the brush cleaner being used, is it very much brought out all the colours and the built up paint residue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these a few more times using this just to make sure I've got all of the lathering off, and then we're going to attempt to reshape the brushes. And here we are. So this is now about 4 hours later after these guys have dried out. And I have to say that using this brush preserver has done a lot of good work for the small base brush. It's kind of got its point back. It still has one or two sort of bristles that are slightly out of alignment, but compared to where it was, I'm actually really impressed with it. I think it looks like it's going to be, after maybe one or two more goes over, it's going to actually be a very good looking brush. And you know, I may not use it for the most fine details work, but again, using it for its purpose of basing, some smaller areas, hopefully it should be good. Sadly, the medium base brush I think was just too far gone. As you can see here, it's quite frayed. It hasn't retained its shape despite doing everything I possibly can. And I think maybe this brush was just too far gone right at the beginning for anything further to come of it. But we gave it a go. It definitely looks better, and the bristles do look a lot cleaner. It is just a case of, unfortunately, it just looks like this one is beyond saving, so it will remain for me a stippling kind of brush, or brushes for very rough jobs. So these brushes are now, they've dried out. I've left them for a little bit. I put them through the washing machine it's about 3 or 4 times. Now with these, I think overall they have come out okay. I like it. This device is for makeup brushes, and of course makeup brushes are far, and most of the time, a lot larger than the type of brushes we use for our minis. But I will say is actually, especially with the medium base brush, you can see that it did actually get down to the built-up paint residue that was just before the ferrule. It was fairly green before, but now it actually has restored some of its original colours. As for the starter brush, this one hasn't fared so well. I have tried reshaping it, but every time it dries out, it does end up back in this position. So although the machine was good maybe for rinsing off your brushes, it's probably not something I would look to recommend for giving them a deep clean. But maybe for some of your larger brushes, if as it is built for makeup brushes, may not be a bad shout. And there we have it. So overall, just to give it a bit of a roundup, let's start with the tiny washing machine. This was great fun. I think it definitely has purpose for potentially rinsing off your brushes, especially if you're using things like scenery brushes, for stuff like for terrain. There's definitely larger brushes that you want to use, or even your dry brushes such as the large dry brush from Citadel or whichever paint brand you use. Overall, for cleaning your brushes for a detail, I think it's okay. I personally probably won't be using it. Hey, if you've got some really knackered brushes that you really want to give a go, why not? This thing is on Wish for, I think it's about £7 with free postage, or actually you can even get versions of it available on Amazon with Prime delivery for £8. So definitely fun to use, probably does have purposes if you do want to use it in the future, but for me, I will be going with the brush cleaner and preserver. Personally, I found this fantastic. I think it cleaned up my brushes really, really well. I'm going to continue to use it over the next sort of few weeks to see if it can restore some of my more damaged brushes. I think it's going to take multiple attempts to kind of bring them together, plus it's getting into the habit of making sure you're going to use this to clean your brushes. And after I have used this for some time, I'll put up another video to see how I've got on and if it has helped any of my brushes and any tips I may have discovered whilst using it. I'm still fairly new to this product, but overall my first impressions are I'm very happy. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and had fun on this little experimental journey testing out some new methods for cleaning your brushes. If you have any ways that you clean your brushes that you think I may have missed or you'd like to see me try, I'm always up for trying out new techniques from people within the community. As always, if you like what you've seen in this video, please hit that subscribe and notification bell as it really helps me out a lot. Alternatively, if you really like it, please check out my link tree in the description below. It has links to all of my other social medias, as well as a Ko-fi page, which is a fantastic way to help content creators like myself get some support and keep the lights on and the cameras rolling. I'm also super happy to announce that we will have the Hobbytime at Healys Discord community launching very soon. So watch this space for more information on that. And remember to join us on Sundays for our Sunday Hobby Hangout on Twitch, where myself and a few friends, we stream, we chat, and we talk about all things hobby related. So please check that out and join us on Sundays. But for now, please remember to stay safe out there, stay positive, and be an ambassador for your hobby. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.